Okay, so, not done one of these in a while. I went to see Ghostbusters, mainly on a sort of a whim, because I didn't actually realise it was out. And, well, I had time, and I thought I'd go, I'd watch it, and then I'd do one of these sort of reviews. Because, obviously, get ahead of the the Americans making all of theirs, like Brad Jones, and who will probably talk about this film far better than I will. I really didn't like the movie. I wanted to. Honestly, I wanted to like it. I didn't want to hate it, but I really don't like the movie. It wasn't that it was for women. It's not that. I was more than happy to see that, because I thought, okay, that might be interesting. I will admit, I don't like Melissa McCarthy that much as the character she generally ends up playing. I feel like gets stereotyped as a character, and they do it every time, and it doesn't work, and I don't find that funny. I don't find Kevin Feige, was it Feige, Kevin Feige who did this? I know it was Feige, I'm getting his name mixed up with the guy who does some of the Marvel movies. I didn't find a lot of his movies very funny, like Bridesmaids, stuff like that, and it is fucking hell, it's raining so much right now. I was questioning how well this would go, but it's not raining that bad, so it should be okay. So, I wanted to like it. I really, really, really wanted to like it, but there was nothing good. And it wasn't just me as well. It wasn't like I was sat in a theatre. The theatre probably had about 20 people in at most. It wasn't like I was sat in a theatre and everyone else was laughing around me. 2 guys were laughing at most of the jokes. 2 guys! Everybody else, stone cold silence throughout the entire fucking movie. There were some good jokes. I liked some of the jokes, but a lot of the time I kept thinking about this. It's so bogged down in being relevant. And the problem is, by trying to make itself relevant, it makes itself irrelevant. It's idiotic. It's idiotic to the nth degree. I had this thought going in that basically, I'm turning on my phone as well. I had this thought going in that I thought it'll be a good movie, but it might not be a great Ghostbusters movie. It wasn't either. I wanted to like this movie. I really did. I didn't want to hate it. I didn't want to be right for once. I don't want the cynicism to win through and think this is a terrible idea, but it's a bad idea. In comparison to I can't help, but I know I shouldn't, but I can't help but compare it to the originals. And I like both the originals. I don't mind the second film that much. I know other people really don't like that second film too much. I like it. I think it's an okay film. Here's the problem. The first 2 movies, the originals, there is a subtlety to them. There is a subtle understatedness to them. The reactions are calm and marked. The situations are ridiculous, but when they are ridiculous, it works because the characters are this grounded element. They don't seem over the top and ridiculous, and this movie doesn't do that. This movie will play up everything it can. It will play up every ridiculous fucking thing. I can't describe it easily enough or well enough. I seriously don't think I could do it without sitting down and writing out the phrases over and over again to find the correct one. It's just, it doesn't feel like a Ghostbusters movie. It doesn't, and I shouldn't be surprised by that. It was never going to feel like a Ghostbusters movie. That's the issue. That was always going to be the thought. So then okay, I'll go over it as best I can. Basically, in a very similar way to the beginning of the original. So people walking past my car. I shouldn't have parked right at the front of the area where there's little shops and the cinemas. So basically at the beginning, you have a person talking about this manor, about how it's haunted, and you can see that he's sort of tricking people to make them think it's haunted. It's good. And then you get the minute of oh look, something strange is going on. And then he ends up being attacked by a ghost, and that's very similar to the original. It's okay. And that's the second the problem. That's another problem. There are a lot of callbacks. And some of them really don't work at all. If there was one thing I'd have said to this movie, if I could have said it to the writers of this movie, if there's one thing I would have grabbed them by the collar and shook them and said, it would have been this. Do not reference the original. Distance yourself as far as you possibly can from the original. Because I promise you, everybody is gonna be annoyed. That would have been the exact phrasing. Because trust me, the people who were bitching about this, the people bitch about the idea of like, oh, it's ruined my childhood, that's stupid, that's an idiotic thing. The people, however, would said, why are you making another Ghostbusters movie? Those people would be more correct. Because this film does not have anything original. It takes so much from the original movies. It does try to separate itself, but it doesn't do it well enough. The problem is, you do have the Stay Puft Marshmallow Man appearing in it, and Jesus in Christ, that should never have been in the movie. Never. If you wanted to reference it as the fucking marshmallows. Do not reference it as the fucking giant version of itself. We'll talk about more of that in a little bit. So basically, so after this sort of this haunting, and you see the obviously very sort of original thing. Then you have the introduction of Kirsten Wiig's character, and I cannot remember half the names of the characters in this, so I will try to as I can, but I can't remember some of the actors and the names, because I'm terrible for that. We have Kirsten Wiig character, and she gets approached about this book she had written ages ago, which gets brought. I like the fact they bring that up constantly. That's a constant within the film. It was like stuff that they sort of talked about, and it's her and Melissa McCarthy's character, and it's stuff that they've researched and found out and worked out about it, and then. It's interesting. It shows that she had an interesting ghost, but because everyone made fun of her for it, she sort of stepped away from it, and that's fine. I get that. It's a solid sort of sentiment into this world of like, people don't believe in ghosts. That's perfectly understandable. Here's the problem, and here's where immediately the film goes off the rails, and it shouldn't have done this. The person who talks to her about the book is Jerry Springer. Yeah! Jerry fucking Springer. Why? Why Jerry Springer? What is the point? And they do it more than once. They bring in a famous face, have them play a role, and that's the only thing they do. Ozzy Osbourne appears at one point to basically just be the meme he already was. That's the problem with this movie. That's the issue. I kept thinking this in my head in the cinema. The movie wants to be memes. It wants to be overly quoted and done by every other single person it could possibly do. It wants people to share it on Tumblr. That's what it wants it to do. And it spends less time trying to create humor than hoping people will find it funny enough to share with other people online. That's it. It doesn't do it hard enough. It doesn't do it justice. The characters half the time don't feel like characters, and I keep going off the tangents, but I am really annoyed. I really want to like this movie. I really did. So basically, then you have them Kirsten Wiig's character going to talk to Melissa McCarthy, who's selling this book, and she doesn't want it to be sold because if it is, then she won't be able to get tenure. I apologize, people getting the cars outside of me. And so you have that. You have her go and talk to her, and you learn of sort of these other characters. You learn of I don't know what her name is. I can't think. She's Holstein in the thing. She's the sort of wacky scientist, gadget creator archetype, because it might as well be at this point. So you have that, and then those two, and Kirsten Wiig, McCarthy, and Holstein go to the house where the opening of the film was. But the problem is what they then immediately do is they're wandering about and they come across the ghost. And what do? They do exactly the same thing from the first movie. They find the ghost, and then once they've found the ghost does the jump scare where it screams at them. And the thing is, you can telegraph. It's telegraphed. It's an entirely telegraphed moment where you can tell the jump scare's going to happen. And when I can tell, that's not a good thing. Because it was just like a slow pan. It keeps getting closer and closer. You're just literally waiting for them to do it. And it's not even the first time they do it either. It's really obviously telegraphed a lot of the jumps. There's a few jump scares, not many. I was able to, I didn't have to keep hiding under my hat. There was a few of them. Oh, watching the two guys who were the only people who were laughing in the cinema walk past. And so you have that, and then they go, like, oh, we've seen a ghost. We've actually seen a ghost for once. And so then then they're posting a video. This is another thing. This is what I mean by it's a movie trying to be so relevant that it makes itself irrelevant. they keep referencing YouTube and comments, and they keep referencing all of that sort of stuff. They keep like talking about, like, they post videos of it on YouTube, and it's, I don't know why. I don't know the point, because everyone will just think it's fake anyway, which they do. And so then but now they're emboldened. They've seen a ghost. They now know what they can do. So then it skips to, I don't know what I heard the actress's name is. I know the character's name is Paddy, but I don't know the actress's name. I am terrible for this. I know. I don't remember names well. So you have her get introduced, and she ends up following this guy who they quickly show. They're not subtle about it either. They're not. It's I guess that the first and second films weren't either. But they're not subtle about basically painting this guy as, oh, he's the crazy person. He's obviously the bad guy. Bwahahaha. And trust me, you could do bwahahaha at some point. It really wouldn't be that surprising. It's just, he's so generic as a villain. He's just this sort of like, oh, I've been bullied and mocked all my life. I'm going to take my revenge on humanity. It's like, Jesus Christ, I've seen that. I've seen that done. I've seen it done in every kind of film. It's not interesting. There is a level of just genericness to it. And there are moments to say, it's not just like that. It's other things. So then Paddy goes and follows this, the villain his name's Rowan. I had to think about it for a second. She follows him onto the tracks as she works at the subway, which, I'm pretty sure they have security. I don't know why this one singular person is doing it. I don't know. I don't know New York. And as she's following down the tracks, she ends up seeing a ghost, which kind of bugs me because it's a ghost of a person who obviously died by being electrocuted. And I can't help but remember the beginning of the second movie where they also had a ghost who died of electrocution, who had lightning powers. See what I mean? It's really bogged down in kind of taking from the first two movies, and I don't feel that and this is the interesting thing, I just think about it now. I can get that idea, like you want to introduce a new audience, but you kind of want to have that familiarity. That's kind of how I felt about Star Wars Episode 7. Episode 7 felt like, okay, we have these moments. Yes, they're very similar to the original, but there's a purpose, there's a familiarity, and you get that these, you can kind of see who these characters may be meant to be, and then they play it up a little as well, it's sort of how stuff goes. This didn't feel like that. It didn't feel like it was being cheekily familiar to make a point. It felt like it was going, hey, do you remember this in the original movie? Well, look at how we fuck it up! I wanted to like this movie. I did. I really fucking did. Really did want to like this movie. And so once they found Paddy, they end up, and Paddy comes to find them, and they end up going after the ghost in the subway, and they find that the proton packs does seem to work. It does seem to hold it. It's not immediate with the proton packs, which I kind of like. I like the fact that there is a system of they show them building it and fixing it, and then making other versions of smaller ones, which I can understand, but it's a really shitty payoff for the reasoning behind it because it really doesn't make any sense. And I'll get to it. And I'm trying to remember. It's like my brain is slowly trying to block it out as I've been thinking about it. So once they find Paddy and they find this ghost, they then find that people are. So now I'm trying to remember the next bit. They start to get the equipment together, and and then it's kind of the thing they put up another video, and people are calling it a hoax again. So they get annoyed about that. And then it shows that Rowan has gone to this rock concert, and so obviously he's making another ghost. And they do the standard sort of the same sort of obvious things. They have them wander. Oops. Oh, I think this way a minute. There we go. This guy didn't turn the electrics on. I should have, but I totally done. Damn it. So basically, they go to this rock concert where someone's reporting that there's a ghost. How they, know it's how they're sure it's a ghost seems beyond me, but okay. And basically they start wandering around the halls, and no one finds anything at first until Paddy sort of sees a room full of mannequins, like stage mannequins. So there's some sort of mannequins, and she's immediately like, nope, gonna go in there, room full of nightmares, and walks out. And immediately, one of the mannequins turns and looks at her as she's walking away. And then, oh, shock horror, one of them's following her, as if I couldn't have seen that coming. There's nothing interesting. This is what I mean. It's just, it feels like they're just going, oh, look, it's a room of mannequins, and she doesn't want to go in there. Oh, but guess what's gonna happen? It's like they want to be... It's like they think we should be surprised, but we're not surprised because we can see it. We know what's going to happen. You are telling us beforehand. It's baffling. And so they basically end up vaporizing this mannequin, which makes this demon... Like, I want to say demon because it's not really... It doesn't look like any other ghost from the original movies. It looks more like a demon. And there's a reason for this. It's because it floats up through the stage, and then everybody thinks that it's part of the show and that they've summoned Satan because it's a rock band. Are we in the 90s? Are we in the 90s at that part where we go, oh yes, everyone believes that it's just part of the act? Despite the fact that surely no one on that stage believes it. Truly. You gotta think of what fucking insanity is that? Also, I love to know what Ozzy Osbourne fucking concert is playing at what appears to be like 4 in the afternoon. Seems like bright ass daylight outside. Okay, apparently Ozzy cannot get like 8 p.m. showings. Fucking I know. And so like then there's this fucking like this is what I mean. It's like so you have that sort of generic thing, and then you have like they run up on stage, they see it, they start trying to fight it. Like Melissa McCarthy then jumps out into the crowd and is crowd surfing, and then Paddy tries to do the same thing and collapses to the floor instead. Cause comedy, I don't fucking know. I didn't find that funny. See, guys who were in front of me found it funny. I just found it. No one else did. No one fucking else in that cinema did. And wow, it's really getting rainy in here. It's really getting rainy. And so you have that. And so, but then they do. They manage to capture the ghost, and everyone cheers, and it's wonderful. And then, you know, people begin to... Oddly, like, there's reporters outside. I don't know why. It's this weird thing of, like, they capture the ghost, everyone cheers, there's a little bit of rock music, and then they're coming outside, and there's reporters there. No reason exactly for why there were reporters there. Everything that just happened could only have happened in a very brief span, and I doubt anyone's going to believe them if they say, hey, there was a ghost here, because no one believes them. So why are there a bunch of reporters? I feel like something was missing there. I feel like something major was missing. But then we have this... I don't know what this next bit baffles me. So then they get called to the mayor's office. And basically the mayor tells them, it's like, oh no, he knows the ghosts are real. He totally believes what they're saying. However, and they don't really make so... This is confusing me. I couldn't tell whether or not it was like the country as a whole does know that ghosts exist, or just New York. I do think it's meant to be the country as a whole, but it's very confusing because it's the mayor of New York talking to them about this, and sort of talk about how Homeland Security sort of there saying like, oh yeah, we know, blah 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 blah. And it's just like this weird moment where it's like this anti-establishment, anti-government hiding things. Cover up was the word I was going for. Hiding things. That's the children's version. This bizarre cover-up of the supernatural. For no reason. It's like, why? It doesn't impact any of the movie. All it is the same thing that basically happened in the original, where people called them out as frauds, and he managed, and fucking Walter Peck character, I can't remember if that's his actual name or that was the actor, I can't really remember. I told you, I'm really bad with actors though. Just claimed they were frauds and got them shut down. Except that then, then it was like, hey, look, it's actually fucking real. And so you have that. So you have this weird thing about oh yeah, we need to stop. We need to pretend you're frauds for the public safety. It's like, really? Because the public, you just think the public is just going to widely accept ghosts with no super amount of proof? And so after capturing this ghost, they have this is a guy who they see early on TV. He's a debunker of sort of like supernatural stuff. He's played by Bill Murray. Yeah, he's played by Bill Murray. This is the first of three times they do this. And so he's brought in, he's like, oh, well, I would love to see the ghost. And Kirsten Wiig's character is, kind of wants to show him, just to kind of shut him up, because it's kind of shown that she was teased in school. Like, they talk about the fact she's teased in school about she believed in ghosts and no one else did. Which once again makes me wonder, why do they have to hide that ghosts exist if anyone doesn't believe it? Makes no sense. You don't fucking correlation between what you're saying and what's going on. And so she ends up releasing the trap, despite Melissa McCarthy saying, "Don't do it. We have no way to contain it. This isn't a good thing." And then the ghost kills Bill Murray. I am sure there's symbolism there. I'm sure there's something there about that. I don't know what, but the fact that one of the four new Ghostbusters unleashes a ghost that kills Bill Murray, at least I assume, because they don't show that he's okay. They might do at the end credit, like they did. There's an end credit scene. I had to leave because I had to pee. I wasn't going to sit around for any more weak ass humor of Melissa McCarthy complaining because she gets a single wonton in a wonton soup. That isn't funny. And they do that joke fucking 3 times. So irritating. So obviously then they realise what's going on, that Rowan is activating these machines that are creating ghosts, and he's doing it along ley lines. Perfectly fine, perfectly understandable. That's quite clever to link it in with real world sort of supernatural thoughts. And so they realise and they go and stop him, but he ends up committing suicide. Oh fuck. and so it knocks, he takes himself out, and then they sort of like, they save the day. But once again, the mayor comes in and says, "Oh, well, we have to pretend you're frauds, but don't worry, we're fake arresting you, and we just have to pretend like you've not actually done anything." Once again, really don't know why. Why would anybody believe what they were doing anyway? Kind of a bizarre thought. However, this was actually all part of Rowan's plan. So you've got to give you, when you're committed to unleashing an army of the undead in ghost form upon New York, committing suicide to do it, that's commitment. That is commitment to a bit. And so he does that, and he ends up taking over Melissa McCarthy's body. The reasoning is not sound. Don't know why he didn't just take over one of the cops that was stood outside the door so he could immediately put back the machine. Because that would have then, kind of caught them by surprise. Instead, no, he goes to Abby's body, pretends to be her for a minute, and then damages their equipment, which doesn't really ever seem to actually adversely affect them, for one thing, which is kind of a strange moment. It's like, he's breaking it, and it's like, well, yeah, okay. Given that everything happens immediately afterwards. And then, and you get that scene that we get in the trailers of Patty slapping Melissa McCarthy's character, which is like, okay, but we've seen it in a trailer multiple times. It's not that funny to see it again. And so then then he leaves her body. And now, this is the weird thing. Instead of going immediately to, I'm going to go and enact my evil plan, he sticks around because the idiot, and I say idiot because it's true, the idiot male secretary that they have constantly had throughout the movie, and that person's just driven the wrong way, played by Chris Hemsworth, who offers nothing to this movie. He is in the movie for no other reason, ironically, to be the male version of the women in refrigerators trope. Apparently that can go both ways. I don't know why he's in. He's not funny, and all the jokes they do about him being dumb wear thin because it's the same joke over and over again. We get it. He's an idiot. That's it. It's one joke repeated ad nauseum until you are nauseous. Enjoy it. And so he takes over his body for some reason, because I don't know why they do this. They never bring it up. It's just like a sudden thing that's there. He's stood on the street. He's got his motorcycle in that he's redesigned to look like the Ecto 1. And he's in a Ghostbuster outfit, and he's shouting about how he should be able to be a Ghostbuster too. He's always wanted to be one, blah, blah, blah. It has nothing to do with the rest of the movie. He has never brought it up once. It's not like they said, it's not like he asked earlier in the movie and they were like, it's a bit too dangerous for you, That would have been really kind of funny. They were playing up, they were reversing that trope of a male character saying to a female character, it's too dangerous. For this time, it's the female character saying to the male characters. But because they've, either they didn't put that in, which it does kind of feel like, because it kind of feels like a real out of left field moment for him to be shouting about wanting to be a Ghostbuster. I think because they do that, it's like, no, he's just there. He's just shouting about being a Ghostbuster. And then he gets possessed. What they fucking do? Jeez. I wanted to like the movie. I really did. I really wanted to like it. Why? to make me hate the movie. And so he gets, okay, so he gets now he's got the thing in his body. He changes it, he begins to rebuild the machine that they've stopped him from using, and he manages to unleash the army of ghosts upon the city. One of the things that bugs me here, with the ghosts, is that only if the ghosts are specific to the plot are they going to show up as, like, they're going to look like something specific. I know with, like, the original movie, it wasn't, they didn't really have, like, specific forms for every single ghost. It was, like, wisps. But it looks, most of the time, every single ghost, like, you see in the background, the ones who aren't really that important, are just these very stereotypical, like, floating humanoid figures with rags. Why do it? Why have that moment? It feels like there's no need. It feels like there's no need to emphasize the fact that, oh, look, you see these really cool designs? We didn't really care about everybody else, but you see these really cool designs. And so they end up going into the city, and immediately they end up, like, bad things happen. Like, Slimer steals their car, and he doesn't look that good. That was not the best effect, and tries to run them over. Once again, I feel like the symbolism there, that Slimer tries to run over three of the Ghostbusters, because Kirsten Wiig hadn't stopped with them at the time, because she's off elsewhere being pouty and realizing that Rowan actually planned to kill himself all along. Which is good, which is clever. She realized his plan and tried to warn everybody. That's a good way. Weirdly, none of them have cell phones. She rings the phone for the office. I'd have thought she'd have rung a cell phone. Make sure you got to them directly instead of hoping they were in the office at the time. They're not maybe that good at times. It's a bit worrying. I think it's just, it's just the point. You couldn't really do that same thing with a mobile that you could with a landline phone to have it playing out to the office. I get the point. And then they end up going through the city, and they end up seeing, like, this parade of balloons that attack them, and, like, they take them out one by one, and the final one is the Stay Puft Marshmallow Man. The final one's the Stay Puft... Distance self from originals! How hard is that? How hard is that for? Don't show the Stay Puft Marshmallow Man unless he's going to be only the actual marshmallows. Just do that. Nice little joke. Nice little reference. You don't need to do it big up in front and then have him be destroyed. Because literally, once again, symbolism. So much fucking symbolism in this movie. It's kind of hilarious. And I just realized I missed one. When Kirsten Wiig's trying to get a taxi to try and get to everybody else, it's Dan Aykroyd who appears in the taxi. And he does do the line of, like, the I ain't afraid of no ghosts and stuff like that. They're not subtle when it comes to referencing it sometimes. They really aren't. Oh, and at the beginning of the movie, they used the original Ghostbusters tune, which is good, wonderful. In the middle of the movie, they used the new one by the Fall Out Boy, and it's not as good. They really shouldn't have put both in the movie, and that tune is just nowhere near as fun and over the top as it originally was with Fall Out Boy doing it. Seriously, what even? And so then you've got that, and basically they catch up back to Rowan, and they find him in, still in this sort of possessed body. And he's at the front, and he's in front of the hotel where he's put the machine. And he summons this then he summons an army, like this legitimate army. It's not this sort of like in the first film where it's ghosts running wild. He seems to legitimately have control over them, and thus sends them after them. And so there's a fight scene. There's a fight scene in a Ghostbusters movie. And what's bizarre is they do this thing like they're grabbing them with the prototypes and then like shoving, like knocking ghosts into each other to knock them over, or like punching them out. It's so least like the Ghostbusters it could possibly be. It turns into an action movie, and it has scenes that just aren't necessary. I don't know why they've chosen to make it this action horror movie. It didn't need to be that. Low key and subtle. They don't do low key and subtle. They do it over the top. They probably wasted money on that sort of sequence, and I don't know why they would bother with it. So they have all that, and you have the same like characters, these ghosts from earlier reappearing because, well, they've spent money on them already. They might as well get the money's worth. I know I certainly didn't. And so then you have, they have the confrontation, and he tries to sort of kill Kevin, who's Chris Hemsworth's character, body by like letting it fall off. It wouldn't have fallen far. He would have been okay with some brain damage, and no one would have noticed any difference. But and this is the thing. This is the thing that cemented it. This is the thing that cemented it in my head is, no, you really didn't know what you were doing. He basically asks them to choose their form of destruction. He does. He asks them. He based like they make jokes about he sort of switched shifting forms and avoided their shots. And he says, "Oh well, what form should I take?" And obviously, Paddy then says, "I don't. You know what form I would like? Something cute and fluffy and it's just like immediately. She says that she says cute and fluffy labels. So and immediately you just know what's going to happen. And once again, symbolism, so much symbolism, because he turns into the Ghostbusters symbol. Turns into the Ghostbusters symbol, then becomes the ghost from the symbol, which then grows to titanic proportions and tries to crush them. Because I've not seen that in any other Ghostbusters movie now, have I? I wanted to like it. I wanted to like the movie, and it just didn't help itself. It didn't help itself by repeating things. And so then they start to run away because they realize, shit, we're kind of outmatched. This giant fucking 70-foot tall version of our logo trying to murder us. And so they realize that the giant portal everything's sort of spilling out from, that if they can get something strong enough to fall into there, that they could explode it and seal up the portal. They use the total protonic reversal, which is probably one of the few times I didn't care the fact they referenced the original. It's like, that's good. They talk about the total protonic reversal. Same thing that happened in the first movie. That's perfectly fine by me. And so they do that, and they do it by Slimer. Now with Miss Slimer. Yeah, that was real too. I wish I was a person who drank, because this would be that night. This would be that night I would drink until I forgot everything I saw. So they do that. They have Slimer who's driving the Ecto-1 still, and they manage to like divert him so he drives into the portal, and then they explode it, making everything begin to collapse. Perfectly sound, perfectly good idea. But then it becomes this issue where, like, basically Rowan's ghost. There's a joke there somewhere, but I don't know what it is. I know that that's a reference to the original as well. I don't know. I'll find that out. I'm sure someone will tell me in the comments. But like, basically, this Rowan's ghost thing, and it sounds very familiar. Maybe that was the original. Maybe that was the original ghost in the original movie. I don't know. But basically, he's holding on to buildings, and that would take to get him into the hole. So what do? They shoot him in the crotch. Yeah. I didn't find that funny. I kind of felt like I should have, because it's someone being shot in the crotch, and that should always be funny to me. The fact that it wasn't, I think, just showed how numb I got to this humor by that point. And so he falls in, but he manages to grab Melissa McCarthy's character on the way in, so Kristen Wiig dives in with a sort of belt line attached and saves her, and it's a great thing. And they come out, and they've got, like, white hair. Okay, it's kind of funny. And so then, the city's saved, but then immediately the news is reporting that the mayor's claiming that, oh no, there was no such ghost, and it was terrorists drugging the drinking supply. I still don't know why. I don't get, and that's why it makes me think like the government. It's just New York's mayor who's trying to hide it, and not the government, because kind of at this point they'd kind of have to go, yeah, it's kind of real, and that's it. Really, that's it. That's how the movie ends. There's a crotch shot, and Kirsten Wiig and Melissa McCarthy's hair is now white. And then they dye it, and Kirsten Wiig's accidentally got a really bad colour, which was called Garfield. But it wasn't after the cat, it was after the president. That was a joke in the movie. I'll say this. Go see the movie. Go make your own opinion. I can't say, I can safely say it. I will not watch that movie again. I didn't like it. I didn't find it funny. The characters were annoying. The villain felt weak to me. The CGI was spotty at times, and sometimes it looked okay. The jokes they didn't hit, like, all the time. Like, some of the jokes were funny. I can't really think of them now, because they didn't really stick with me. But there wasn't really, like, anything like iconic lines that anyone's going to be quoting. I'm certainly not going to go talk to anybody I know who's seen the movie on, like, Wednesday when I go to play D&D and have anyone quote lines from that at me. except for maybe one, which is good, but it's not a Ghostbusters movie. It's not a good movie. I didn't think it was a good movie. I really wanted to like it, and it was just too over the top. It was like they basically said, these are these characters. We're going to drill this single personality trait as deep as whole as possible, and we're going to ground ourselves to it and never change. It didn't... I don't know. There wasn't the charm, maybe? Maybe that was it, the charisma. It didn't, like, you know... I mean, Peter Venkman's character in the originals is a a-hole, basically, a self-serving a-hole. But you can see that he's doing what he's doing because he wants to do it and he enjoys it. And, you know, he's happy working with these people who are his friends because they've discovered a new form of science. Admittedly, he probably wants to just make money off it. That's a possibility. But this just didn't feel like that. None of those characters really felt like that huge of characters to me most of the time. They felt kind of like stereotypes. The same stereotypes that a lot of time when it's a fucking Kevin Feige production, like with Bridesmaids, like with Spy, like with everything fucking else that guy seems to have his name on, it seemed to be singular stereotypes with humor centered around those singular stereotypes. And to me, that's not funny. And I get that. Maybe that's just me. Maybe that is it. Maybe that there are other people out there who can watch that movie and they can find it funny. But personally, I didn't. I really wanted to like this movie. And the fact I didn't really kind of pissed me off. And I wanted to be wrong. I wanted the cynicism not to win in that regard, but it really did. It's not a Ghostbusters movie. It's not anything of the sort. There's no subtlety to it. It's lacking imagination to me. It feels like a lot of the time I forgot to mention where Ernie Hudson comes in. Ernie Hudson comes in at the very end of the movie. This is why I'd forgotten about him. And basically is like Paddy's character all throughout the movie keeps talking about this uncle, and she keeps referencing, keeps talking about him. And the end of the movie reveals that, Ernie Hudson is her uncle. That's it. That's where Ernie Hudson gets to be put in. 2 minutes before the end. You know, not important amount. I wanted to like this movie. I really did. I really, really wanted to like the movie. I don't like that I don't like it because I didn't want the cynicism to win. But I still say the same thing. Go watch it. Go see for yourself. Go see what you think, because there probably is going to be, if you like Kevin Feige's movies, and you like the stuff that he's done with Kirsten Wiig and Melissa McCarthy, go watch it. You will love it. I don't like those movies. I don't find them very funny. And so that's the only reason I can think is just I don't like the combination. I don't like the way it's written, and I didn't like the characters because it just didn't feel funny. It didn't make me laugh. I didn't give a shit about the characters half the time. I didn't give a shit about the villain. I certainly didn't. In the first movie, they fucking fought a god. In this one, they just fought a guy who kind of looks like the guy who in the second movie was the guy working for Vigo the Carpathian. Also, here's the thing. I can remember the name Vigo the Carpathian from the second fucking Ghostbusters movie. Couldn't tell you the names of half of the characters in this movie. Kind of says something, doesn't it? And I've only watched the second Ghostbusters a few times. I wanted to like it. I really fucking did. I think that's about it. I've been talking for 38 minutes. Jesus Christ. I really didn't think I'd be this long or winded about it. I'm going to go upload this. Get home and upload this. It's probably just going to be a quick ad break. And then I'm going to talk about the trailers. If you don't listen to it, don't listen to it. There's nothing, probably it's not going to be too interesting. But you've sat through 40 minutes almost of me talking about this. Surely you can last a few more minutes. So I'll be back. Okay, so trailers, and I will be quick because I have 15% of battery life left on my phone. Try to write them down. There's a new Bridget Jones movie. Speaking of third movies that maybe we really didn't need, I don't know. That's another batch of movies where I have no urge of which to watch them and no care about anybody involved in them. She's having a baby, apparently. That's the plot of the movie. Okay. Right, like I give a flying fuck. The second trailer was Bad Moms, which kind of looks interesting, kind of funny. it's a very sort of solid, like, that looks like a very feminist movie. It's a very sort of idea. This idea basically is this sort of controlling PTA, parent teacher association. Just to, not being insulting. Mother who's like very critical of all the others, and so a group of like three mothers come together to kind of take back what it means to be a mother in this day and age, which I can kind of get. I kind of understand that from a point. Like, it's clever because there are people who are very opinionated and very elitist in how they think people should raise kids, and it seems like a bit very that actually, that was the funny thing. Lines in that made me laugh more than anything did in Ghostbusters. A trailer for a movie that I'm probably not going to see made me laugh more than the movie I went to properly see. I think that speaks fucking volumes, but I'm really not sure. And Mila Kunis is in it. I'd go watch it for Mila Kunis playing someone pissed off, and not for once playing the girlfriend of a character, but someone who's actually a hard-working person who just wants to be able to get on with life and not be judged by assholes. Yeah. Kind of like a grown-up Meg, in a way. Interesting. If I can, if ever I can fucking link it back to Thingy, to American Dad. So that looks like that might be quite kind of fun. There was Mike and Dave Need Wedding Dates, which I've been hearing about recently because it's like this story. It's a movie based on like true events. I would immediately then question how true those events were, because whenever somebody says a movie based on true events, I kind of think bullshit, and then I think, well, they're probably just hyping up a lot of these events for no reason. And it didn't make me want to see it. Zac Efron's in it. And if ever a movie is going to find a way to not get me see it, put Zac Efron in it. I've done my time with Zac Efron. I've watched High School Musical. I don't need to see more of Zac Efron. Just not happening. Not happening. There's the new Jason Bourne, which I have seen none of those movies, but now I really think I should. I'll see all the originals, then I'll watch the Jeremy Renner one, and then I'll decide whether or not I think Jeremy Renner or Matt Damon is better, and then I can watch the new Jason Bourne. The new Jason Bourne, they're apparently just called Jason Bourne. We've apparently given up giving them titles. Okay. Alright, well and good. That is good, but it is that problem like in the trailers when they keep saying shows Matt Damon, shows Matt Damon. This says big titles, big letters. It says Matt Damon, and immediately I want to go to Team America, to the Matt Damon. That is all I can see in my head, and I can't stop thinking about that and laughing because it's really, really funny to me, which may or may not prove that I do have the sense of humor of a 6-year-old. I don't know. It's just immediate. Say Matt Damon, and then cuts to Matt Damon. Speaking of the films, I've not seen in a while, at least for that one. Then there was new Star Trek, which I will probably go and as more than likely I'll go and see it. I liked the reboots. I've liked the new Trek, as people have referred to it as, and I will more than happily see that. It looks interesting, and I actually really like the music that Rihanna's done for it. That was quite good for giving that sort of epic, like, kind of holy shit, this could be the end of the Enterprise and its crew. At least the end of the Enterprise, given what they show in the trailer. That really they shouldn't have done. Maybe they shouldn't have shown that the Enterprise starts breaking up and seems to have been destroyed completely. I feel like that would have been a bigger moment if they left that, but okay. And so that looks pretty good. So I'll probably go see that in the future. And then finally had the new trailer for the Magnificent Seven, which, speaking of more films I should probably go watch the original of, which looks good, but it looks I don't know, it's a very like heavy action, which seems funny given that the original was a Western. So because I've never seen the original, I don't know how much. So I think it was a very like sort of over the top, and I imagine there'll be a lot of sort of swooping camera movements and very quick cut editing, and as insane gunfights break out and stunts all over the place. I imagine a movie that's going to spend a lot of money on stunts. A lot of money on stunts and a lot of money on extras to do stuff. Interesting cast of characters though. It wasn't just like all white males. It was all males, but they weren't all white. So, given this day and age, that's kind of a win. I mean, the Avengers, most of the Avengers are white. Actually, kind of all the Avengers are white. So, yeah. See, yeah, I don't like getting into racial issues and this sort of thing because yeah, it's kind of fucking stupid that there aren't more sort of actors of color and stuff in movies. It feels like be more interesting and more sort of broader spectrum, and I'm not that interested really. Really, I don't give a shit who's on screen. Like as long as they're good, they're good. If them being a person of color can bring something a little different to the role and make it a more interesting thing to watch, perfectly happy with that. I really don't care as long as they're the best person to play the role. That's how it should be. The best people to play the roles should be the people who are cast. You know, I I get weirdly logical about shit like this. It's like I don't care. It's just like I don't care if they're the wrong gender for the role, the wrong color to what you describe. I just want the best person, and that's it. And finally, that's yeah. This is the credits bit. So it's the bit. And I didn't have much to talk about with those trailers. I really felt like I talked and destroyed my voice for tomorrow when I need to be recording other stuff. Oh no, wait! Tomorrow's my writing day. Wednesday's the day when I'm going to record stuff before I leave. So I don't to Manchester. So yeah, I think I'll probably see the Magnificent Seven, and I'll see Star Trek, and I might go see Jason Bourne if I can go watch the originals, so I can catch up with exactly what's happening. I'm guessing really I might not need to that much. Maybe a quick Cliff Notes sort of version by looking on the internet. That'll be about it. But yeah. So hopefully you guys enjoyed this and me bearing my soul. Jesus Christ, 11 o'clock. I wanted to like the movie. I did. Right. I'm gonna head home and get this up on the on YouTube. And then hopefully and then tomorrow I've got to write the next review. I got another thing I'm going to write, which I need to get the next Stripperella episode sorted, which will go up on Patreon first. Then the month after Viacom fucking lets it go, Jesus Christ, they really want to tightly grip onto their products if someone's fucking mocking it. And then Wednesday I've got to record stuff. Then Thursday I'll edit, and Friday should have videos. I should have videos stuff out. Probably try and record some new Simpsons. This Simpsons sucks as well because I've still got like 5 left. I recorded a new one a couple of days ago. I was like, I'll add that on, which was like the next episode of season 19. Apparently Sky is slowly working their way through that, and so at the same time am I. So yeah. So thanks for watching this video. Talk to you later.